Hey everyone, Mr. P here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the process of making maple syrup, all the way from tapping the tree to bottling it. But first we got to get into the right attire. Much better, let's get started. Hey, it's a beautiful day out here. Not really. But this is the tree we're going to be tapping today. There's two of them here. We call these the twin sisters because they kind of resemble my sisters. Ow! Ow! I mean, I was just joking, but the reason we call them the twin sisters is because they're pretty much the same size and they're right next to each other. But before we get started, there's a couple things we gotta look at. First, you're gonna find your tree. I love you. Found the tree. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna tap it on the south side of the tree, so you identify what side is the south side of the tree, and then you're gonna be then looking for some holes. So when you're drilling your hole, make sure you don't drill it too close to the last year's, see here, and then don't confuse it with these ones, which are all from woodpeckers. And you can identify them because they're all kind of in a line and they're much higher up on the tree than your hole. But make sure you also don't put it in a divot of a tree, so like right here, because then you won't be able to get the bucket on. So because it's only hanging out just a little bit, so you got to make sure you have enough room so it's not in a divot to put the bucket on. So first you're going to clean the drill bit off, and the solution that we use is half vodka, half water to sterilize it, because each tree has its own DNA and you don't want to cross-contaminate it. Now we're going to drill a hole. So first you're going to find a spot. You're going to put a little bit of angle on it, not too much, but just enough so the gravity will pull the sap down into the tap. You're going to drill about 1.5 to 2 inches into the tree. And you're going to blow the hole out with all the sawdust. And then you're going to grab your vodka and water and spray it into the hole to clean it out. And then you're going to grab your tap, which we use just a 1/4 inch tap. Grab your hammer, put it in there, tap it in. Just right there where it starts getting bigger and it starts getting smaller. And then we're going to put the bucket on the tree. And then we have a 3/4 inch hole here on the buckets. We drill all of them. And then you just put it on. And there you have it. And now it's time to collect. So what you're going to do is grab a 5-gallon bucket, come up to the tree, put the bucket down. You're going to take the lid off the bucket. We're going to dump it into our bucket. Look at that. I'm going to put it back on the tree. Put the lid back on. Once the bucket is full, we're going to be coming down to the road. And we're going to put it in these bigger containers. And then once these are all full, we'll be going up to the platform. That's a different process. I'll show you guys that later, but right now we're going to go into a video montage. And if you ever have some ice in the bucket, that's totally fine. It's just when it gets below freezing and it freezes, the water will actually freeze and the sugar will all stay to the bottom. So if you want to just chuck it out, you might be losing a little sugar, but it's good to just chuck the ice out and then you'll have better sugar content. And sometimes if you take the block of ice out and you lick it, it can taste good. And now that we have all these full, we're going to be taking it out of here and then filtering it. You're going to grab your bucket. You're going to fill it up. Let it drip a little bit. Come over here. We're going to put it through the filtering. This is just a makeshift filter with a baby blanket, just to get all the big chunks out, all the bulk, any bugs, anything that comes from the bucket. And then we're gonna keep doing that until the barrels are full. We'll move to barrel to barrel. And then once those are full, we're gonna start filling this thing. And this thing is called the warming pan. It warms it up. It holds about 115 gallons. And then this pan goes into the flat pan, which holds about 80. And then it gets cooked from there. And now I'm gonna show you guys how to stoke the fire. First, you're gonna grab this little tool here. We have to open the door. Open the door here. Throw a couple logs on here. Make sure you don't burn yourself like my brother John. Rest in peace, brother. Just load it up pretty well. Close it back up. And that's how you stoke the fire. And now, before everyone gets here, and it's going to be way too loud to show you guys and explain it while it's happening, we're just going to go through the process of taking the pan off. So first, this will come off when it gets pretty low so we can actually monitor the pan. We're going to be taking this off. We're going to have two people on each side. We're going to come out here, 90-degree turn it, and put it on this cart here. And then from there, we're going to put it into these smaller containers, and then we're going to be putting it inside. And these are the pans we put the syrup into after we take it off of the big pan. They hold about roughly 5 gallons. And then we strain them into here, and then we bring it back up to 57 brick. And as you can tell, I have a little upgrade here. Microphone check, upgrading. So what we got here is we got two filters. So we got these two little small filters. That's the first thing we filter it through. And then after we filter it in here, we go back on the stove, get it up to 57. Then we go through this filter, which is one of the small ones, and then a much thicker one for the final filter. And then after we put it in here and we put it through the first filter, we bring it back to this stove, and then we filter it all the way through, and then we bring it back up to 57 brick. And these are the jars we use. We buy them locally, and a huge shout out to my mom for washing them all and sending them out to dry before we bottle. These are the bottle sizes that we use. We use quart, pint, and half pint. And then we put all the lids in here for all the jars in this, what is it called? A water, no?
It's a skillet, but there's water, just.
A skillet?
The container itself is called a skillet.
Okay, ready? Then we put all the lids that we use for the jars in this little skillet, is what my mom calls it. And then we just sterilize it. It goes up to 150 degrees just to boil all the lids so they get sanitized. And now you're probably wondering, how do we know when to take the syrup off? Well, we're going to be using this hydrometer, and we're going to be checking the sugar concentration on the syrup. And now to check it, we're going to be dipping this in the syrup, and then this thing floats at 50, and then we need it to float at 52, and then we'll take the pan off. Once inside, we're going to put it through the first gravity filter, and then we're going to put it back at that stove that you saw there. We're going to bring it up to 75 bricks, and then we're going to filter it one more time through a much thicker filter, and then we're going to bring it back to the stove, get it up to 59, and then we're going to bottle it. Bubble it. Sponsor me.
jars upside down for about 10 minutes, so it helps it to seal it up when we flip it back up.
It was him.